Some people think the scariest sound in the woods is a scream. They're wrong. Because a scream tells you what it is. A scream is a sign of panic. It has lungs. It has limits. But a whistle? A whistle is controlled. And when you hear a whistle coming from a place where no one lives, when it answers your whistle, when it starts to learn your rhythm, that's when you realize the woods aren't empty. They're listening. And if it can copy you, it can trick you. It can lure you. This is the true story of a farm job that should have been normal, until something in the trees started practicing the sound of being human. Intro 045 115. Welcome back to True Haunting Log. This is the channel where real people share the real experiences that stayed with them long after the lights came back on. Tonight's story takes place on a quiet farm road, the kind of place where the loudest thing should be a cow or your boots in gravel. But sometimes the quiet is a trap. Let's get into it. Part 1. The Job, 1:15-6. I don't really have a clear explanation for what happened. I've got ideas. I've got theories. But none of them sit right. This was my senior year of high school. I was about to graduate. College was coming fast. And I had a job working for my grandfather. He had farm property 2 main areas. One was easy to access. The other was down the road, through a gate, and it needed a key. Most days, he wasn't there. He'd call or text and tell me what to do. Feed the cows, check the trough, make sure the gates were closed. Simple work. Hard work, but normal. It was early November. That time of year where the cold comes in early and the sun gives up fast. I had baseball practice after school. Practice ran from about 3:25 to 5:30. By the time I got to the farm, the daylight was already dying. The sky would be that dull gray blue. Not dark yet, but not safe either. Like the world was holding its breath. One evening, I pulled up like usual. I got dressed for work. Boots, gloves. I filled the buckets, fed the first farm. Then I realized something that made me groan out loud. I didn't have a key for the second farm, and that meant I couldn't drive the truck all the way in. I had to do it the hard way, carry buckets from the fence to the feed trough. It wasn't a short walk, maybe 40 yards, back and forth, and those buckets didn't feel light after practice. I was annoyed, but I didn't want to be in a bad mood in the dark. So while I walked, I started whistling. Not a song, no real tune, just random notes. Something to keep my brain from imagining shapes in the trees. When I finished the last trip, I tossed the buckets in the truck bed. I wiped my hands on my jeans. I turned toward the road, and I heard it. A whistle. Not from my side of the fence, not from the road, from the neighboring property. That property was supposed to be empty. No neighbors close by, no lights, no house could be seen from the road. And the whistle sounded close. Close enough that I felt it in my chest like sound traveling through cold air. I froze with my hand still on the tailgate. The whistle stopped. And then, after a beat, it whistled again. My first thought was a bird. A mockingbird, maybe. They can do weird stuff. So I forced a laugh, shook it off, and got in my truck. I told myself it was nothing. But the thing about nothing, it doesn't usually answer back. For the next few days, I didn't whistle. Not on purpose. I just didn't feel like it. But the whistling still happened. At first it was faint, like wind through a crack, like a sound you'd miss if your boots were louder. Then it got clearer, day by day, like something was moving closer, or getting better at it. And it wasn't random anymore. It sounded intentional. Not bird-like, not messy, human. It was the kind of whistle you'd hear from a person trying to act casual in the dark. Like, I'm just here, I'm not doing anything. Except there was no one there. Every time I heard it, I'd look. The trees were thick on that property. The ground went uphill and got wooded fast. The shadows collected between trunks like dark water. And I never saw anyone. I started expecting it. Which sounds crazy, but fear can become routine. You start telling yourself, it happened yesterday, and I survived. Then one evening, it didn't happen. No whistle. And I remember feeling disappointed. Like my brain had made it into a weird game. Like, oh, I guess the mockingbird isn't here today. That's the part that makes me sick now. Because whatever it was training me to accept it. That same night, I had the key. I walked up to the gate and started messing with the ring of keys. And I dropped them. They fell into the grass with a soft metallic clink. I muttered, "Damn it." I squatted down and started feeling around. The grass was cold and damp. My fingertips brushed dirt. A small rock. A piece of a dead leaf. Then I heard something from the neighboring property. Not a whistle. A low sound. A groan or a gurgle. It started faintly. Then it got louder, like something was dragging itself uphill. I wasn't scared right away. I was curious. Because curiosity is what gets you killed in horror stories. And I didn't understand yet that I was in one. I stood up, dusted my hands, and stared across the fence. The woods looked normal, but the sound kept coming. I told myself maybe it was a herd animal, a deer stuck in the brush, a sick dog. So I did the dumb thing. I left my truck parked across the road, walked down a few feet, and hopped the fence onto the other property. As soon as my boots hit that side, everything felt different. The air was colder. The ground felt softer, like it held water. And the trees, they felt closer together. The land went straight uphill, and the woods got thicker the higher you went. Like the hill was swallowing light. Looking back, I made big mistakes. I should have stayed near the road. I should have called my grandfather. I should have left. But I didn't. I started up the hill. Every so often, I'd hear that gurgle again. It sounded far up, still faint, like it was pulling me deeper. Then the smell hit me. Not a normal wood smell. Not leaves, not soil, not pine. This was garbage and wet dog. Like a trash bag left in the rain. Like fur that hadn't been clean in months. I stopped walking. I listened. The gurgle faded. Then, a new sound. A voice. A dry, low, distorted voice. From just a few yards ahead. It said, "Damn it." Slow. Wrong. Like someone reading the words without understanding them. It sounded like a 60-year-old smoker trying to learn English. My stomach tightened. My brain went, someone is here. Some angry squatter. Someone is messing around. I moved more slowly. I didn't want him to hear me before I saw him. The voice came again. Damn it. Then, damn it. Still weird. Still off. But closer. I sat on a fallen log, heart thumping, trying to decide what to do. And while I sat there, the voice kept repeating it, over and over. But something changed. The tone shifted. The rhythm got closer to mine. And then I realized this thing wasn't just saying damn it. It was practicing me. My inflection, my frustration, even the way I clipped the words. As it had listened to the trees and stored it away. I stood up so fast the logs scraped my jeans. My mouth went dry. I took a step forward. Then another. I crested the hill. I turned on my phone flashlight. I started to speak. Hey, this is private property. And I got cut off mid-sentence. Because the light hit something that should not have been there. It was squatting in the leaves, only a few yards in front of me. Naked. And the first thing I noticed were its eyes. They reflected my flashlight, but not like animal eyes, not a normal shine. It was more like something wet and deep staring back from the dark. My body screamed at me, wrong. It didn't look like a regular man. Its neck was too long. Not cartoon long, just long enough that your brain keeps rechecking it. When my light hit it, the thing didn't stand up normally. It didn't flinch like a person caught doing something. It twitched. Its head snapped toward me, fast, but its eyes didn't move first. It turned like a robot, like the neck was on a hinge. The squat it was in, I don't even know how to describe it. Like a ballerina squat. Heels down, knees bent, too balanced. Its body was skinny. Not thin guy, skinny. More like something that forgot how eating works. Ribs showing. Its skin looked wrong under the light. Pale in some places, dark in others, like bruises under dirty water. For a moment, neither of us moved. The woods were silent behind it. No birds, no wind, not even the normal leaf rustle. Like the whole hill was listening. Then the thing spoke. And my voice. It said, damn it. Perfect. Not distorted now. Not slow. Not learning English. It sounded like me. Like I had recorded myself and played it back. My blood went cold. That wasn't a person playing a prank. Because even if a guy wanted to mess with you, how does he copy your exact voice after only hearing one word? My legs started backing up before my brain decided to. The thing shifted in the leaves. And very slowly, it started to stand, hands at its sides, like it was following instructions it didn't understand. And it kept rising. Too tall. Too long. I remember thinking, that's not possible. I remember my throat trying to close. I didn't wait to see its full height. I turned and ran. But the run felt wrong too. Like my legs were moving without me. Like my body was on autopilot and my mind was floating above it. I did not look back. I couldn't. I hit the fence and climbed like my life depended on it. Because I knew. If it wanted to, it could probably catch me. I got in my truck and drove off so fast that gravel sprayed behind me. And as I sped away, I kept expecting to hear something hit the truck bed. A hand, a thud, a body landing like a spider. But there was nothing, just the road. And the dark was closing in behind my rearview mirror. That night, I didn't tell my grandfather. I didn't tell my parents. I didn't tell anybody. Because how do you say it out loud? How do you say, I saw something pretending to be me? I kept working that farm because I had to. And for a while, nothing happened. No voice, no gurgle, no figure on the hill. Just the whistling sometimes. A few more times after that. And every time I heard it, I felt the same cold thought. It's still there. It's still practicing. People always ask, did it follow you home? And that's the terrifying part. I don't know. But after that night, certain things started changing around me. Not movie stuff. Not floating chairs. Not blood on walls. Smaller. Sharper. Like my world had tiny cracks in it now. For example, I stopped whistling completely. Even in the shower. Even driving alone. Even on bright afternoons. Because every time I almost did, I pictured that thing on the hill copying the sound back. And another thing, I started listening harder than I ever listened before. I'd walk into a room and pause, waiting for an extra breath, an extra footstep, a sound that didn't belong. Sometimes late at night, I'd hear a noise outside, and my stomach would flip. Not because the noise was scary, but because my mind would go, what if it learned more than one word? And that's when the dream started. In the dreams, I'm back on that hill. Except the hill is steeper. The trees are thicker. And my phone flashlight is dim like it's dying. I hear my own whistle up ahead. But I'm not whistling. In the dream, I shout, "Who's there?" And my own voice answers back. But it says things I never said. It says my name as it owns it. It says, "Come up." It says, "I'm waiting." And then I wake up, sweating, with that smell in my nose. Garbage and wet dog. Even though my room is clean. I want to be clear. I'm not claiming I proved anything supernatural. But here's what I know. A squatter doesn't learn your voice in seconds. A prankster doesn't stand up too tall for the human body. And a normal person doesn't move like their bones are a costume. And if it was just an animal, then why did it speak? Why did it copy? Why did it sound like it was trying on my identity? After that experience, I started reading about things people report in rural areas. Not because I wanted to believe, because I wanted to disbelieve. I wanted a label I could slap on it and forget. I wanted a neat explanation. But every explanation fell apart. And there's one more detail I never forget. That night on the hill, the scariest moment wasn't when I saw it. It was the moment I realized it had been listening for days. It could be longer. It knew the sound of me being annoyed. It knew the sound of me trying to stay upbeat. It knew when to whistle and when to stop. So I would miss it. So I would want it. So I would step over that fence. That's not random. That's hunting. And the worst thought is this. What if it didn't want to kill me? What if it wanted to learn me? What if the whole point was practice? A voice, a whistle, one word at a time, until it could walk down that road, sound like somebody's son, and get invited inside. Some people say you should never answer a whistle in the woods, and after what happened to me, I believe that. Because if something answers back, it might not be answering. It might be rehearsing. If this story got under your skin, hit like, subscribe to True Haunting Log, and tell me in the comments. Have you ever heard a sound in the dark that felt too intelligent? And if you have a true scary story you want us to narrate, send it to truehauntinglog@gmail.com. Please include as many details as possible and let us know the name you would like us to use. Until next time, keep your lights on. And if you hear a whistle outside, don't whistle back.